I don't talk about what happened in that house. Not because I've forgotten. I could never forget. But some things, some nightmares, are better left buried. Some doors should never be opened, and some houses should never be lived in. It was the early 1960s when my family moved into the house on the east side of Detroit. My parents, Mr. and Mrs. Adams, were excited. It was bigger than our last place, perfect for a family with 5 kids and a dog. It was supposed to be our home, but from the moment we stepped inside, something felt wrong. I was just a kid back then, but even at that age, I could sense it, like the house was watching us, waiting. I didn't know what for, but I would soon find out. There was a back bedroom in the house. Small, cramped, just enough space for a single bed and a built-in closet. None of us wanted to sleep there. My brothers and I refused to go near it. Even our dog, usually fearless, wouldn't set foot inside. He'd just stand at the doorway, whimpering, his tail between his legs. I didn't know why. I didn't want to know why, but I could feel it. Something was wrong with that room. Something lived there, and whatever it was, it didn't want us there. My father worked the night shift at the Cadillac assembly plant. When he got home in the morning, exhausted, he decided to sleep in the back bedroom. It was quiet, far from the noise of the rest of the house. It should have been perfect, but from the first night, the nightmares started. Not normal nightmares. Something worse. Something that felt too real. He dreamed of the closet door creaking open, of a woman falling out, her body mutilated, her dress soaked in blood, her eyes, oh God, her eyes, staring, unseeing, accusing. My father woke up screaming, but it didn't stop there. Every night, the dreams got worse, more vivid, more violent. He stopped talking, stopped eating. Dark circles formed under his eyes, and then, one night, he saw something else. Something in the room with him, a shadow, standing in the corner, not moving, not breathing, just watching him. That was the night he moved back to the master bedroom with my mother, and the nightmares, they stopped immediately. We should have listened. We should have known that the house was trying to tell us something, but we didn't. And soon, others would suffer for it. My grandmother came to visit. My parents gave her the back bedroom. She lasted one night. The next morning, she sat at the breakfast table, her hands shaking. She looked terrible. "I didn't sleep," she whispered. I heard something." "What do you mean?" my mother asked. She swallowed. "Someone was in the room with me." I felt a chill crawl up my spine. "What did you hear?" my father asked. She hesitated. "Breathing," she whispered. "Whispers." And then she gripped her coffee mug so tight I thought it would shatter. The door handle turned. No one spoke. Then she set the mug down. "I'm leaving." She packed her bags and left that afternoon. She never came back. We should have left with her, but we didn't, and soon we would pay the price. We should have left, but we didn't. And the house, it knew that. It was patient. It could wait. One weekend, an old friend of my parents came to visit. He was passing through town and needed a place to stay. They gave him the back bedroom. They didn't warn him. Maybe they didn't want to believe it themselves. That night, he went to bed early. My parents sat in the kitchen talking. The rest of us were asleep. Then at midnight, something woke him. A touch, soft hands pressing against his shoulders, turning him over. He blinked awake, confused. Someone was standing in the doorway. A woman. She had long hair, a short fur coat, a blue dress, but something was wrong. She wasn't facing him. She stood with her back to him, completely still, not moving, not breathing. He sat up, his pulse pounding. "Hey," he whispered. No answer. She didn't turn around. She just stood there. Something about the way she held herself, so still, so unnatural, made his stomach churn. His mouth went dry. Slowly, Carefully, he swung his legs over the bed. I said, the lights went out. Total, suffocating darkness. The air turned thick, heavy with a stench of decay, and then a sound, low, guttural, a wail, not human, not of this world. Then suddenly, light. He blinked. He wasn't in the bedroom anymore. He was standing in the kitchen. Mrs. Adams was there, standing at the sink, washing her hair. She turned, startled. "What the hell are you doing?" Before he could answer, the smell hit them, rotting flesh, blood, something old and evil seeping into the air. Then, a sound, loud, violent, coming from the floor. The trapdoor to the basement, the heavy wooden door that led down to the dirt crawl space, slamming open and shut. Once, twice, faster, faster, bang, 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 like something under the house was trying to get out. They ran, didn't stop until they were outside, gasping in the cold night air. Then, together, they called the police. Within minutes, 3 officers arrived. They searched the house top to bottom. They checked the back bedroom, the closets, the basement. Nothing, not a single sign that anyone or anything had been there. The police left, and for the rest of the night no one slept. But for some reason, my father still didn't believe them. The next night, he made a decision. He was going to sleep in the back bedroom, and he would prove them all wrong. My father was a stubborn man. Even after everything, the nightmares, the voices, the woman in the doorway, the trap door slamming on its own, he refused to believe it. He thought it was stress, a trick of the mind. So, that night, he made his choice. He would sleep in the back bedroom, alone, and he would prove us all wrong. He lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. The room felt colder than usual. The shadows in the corners stretched too far, but he ignored it. Hours passed. The house was silent. Slowly, he began to drift off. And then, a sound, a soft rustling in the dark. Footsteps, inside the room. He sighed. "Honey?" he muttered, half asleep. No answer. The footsteps stopped. The hairs on his arms stood on end. Slowly, he rolled over and froze. It was there, just inches from his face. A figure hunched over the side of the bed. A face staring right at him, but it wasn't human. It was twisted, wrong, like something trying to wear human skin but failing. Its eyes were wide, lifeless, and unblinking. Its mouth opened, and a sound came out. Not words, not breathing, a hissing noise, wet and rattling, and the stench, rot, decay, the smell of something long dead. My father screamed. He threw himself out of bed, bolting for the door, but the thing didn't move. It just watched him run. He burst into the hallway, tearing at his hair, his eyes wild with terror. We woke up to his screams. My mother ran to him. So did my father's friend. He was thrashing, kicking, trying to claw at his own skin. His friend tried to grab him, hold him down, but my father fought like a madman, screaming, ripping at his hair, eyes wild with something that didn't belong in this world. Finally, they threw a blanket over him, pinning him to the ground, and that's when we all smelled it. The same nauseating stench that filled the kitchen the night before. Rot, blood, something evil. It took an hour for him to calm down, and when he finally spoke, his voice was shaking. "I saw it," he whispered. He looked at my mother with hollow, terrified eyes. I saw its face. That was all she needed to hear. My parents grabbed the kids. Didn't pack. Didn't hesitate. We fled into the night. By morning, we were gone. We moved in with my mother's parents on the other side of Detroit. We never went back. We never spoke of it again. We left the house, and whatever was inside it, to the darkness. The house won. The back bedroom belonged to it. And the thing inside, it was never meant to be disturbed.